out of trap. But again, if we could call these things ahead of time and know exactly what the players are going to do, there would be no reason to watch. So let's go ahead and stick with and see if anything crazy is going on so far in the early game while we introduce these players.
All right, but yeah, spawning down the bottom left-hand side of the map, playing for Team Jin Air Green Wings, it's Cure.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner, it is the blue Protoss player, Trap. We've got Gemini19 in the chat, very excited the Trap is here, saying only trap, 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 and finally Trap.
Yeah, he's. I think he's pretty much the Trap fan. Like,
he's
there's all
the
the other fans for Trap, but he is the Trap fan. He's
yes.
just, and pretty much any of the other Protoss players too. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. For those of you that didn't watch the last event, basically Cure kind of destroyed it a little bit. He destroyed Solar 3-0, and then who did he beat in the second round? It was
it was a Protoss, right?
No, it was Fantasy, right?
Fantasy. It was,
yeah, so he beat
yes.
Fantasy. I think that was a 3-0 too. And then he beat Keen like 4-1 or 4-2, so he had an impressive run.
Yeah. It was 4-1. He dropped one map the entire event, which is just dead impressive considering who he was playing against. So we'll see if Trap can slow down the Cure bandwagon here. It's a train. It's pushing strong. Trap standing on the track, holding his arm out, saying,
"Oh,
come at me, bro."
Look at that. Cure just completely pulled his SCV right off and just says, "Nope.
You're not killing this SCV." The delay is pretty nice here.
Yeah, that was a bit of an overreaction, just that small thing, I think, because yeah, I guess that's just that was a bit of an odd probe timing because it was out scouting, right, and then it came in. But oh, wait a second, we're seeing a second Reaper coming out of Cure.
Oh, that is a little bit interesting.
TvP, that's really interesting. I mean, Reapers are very microable, so I was actually thinking about this the other day. Because, like, Reapers, they have such micro potential. I mean, in small numbers, they're not terrible versus Protoss units as long as you micro perfectly. So we'll see. Maybe it's just for, like, a double scout to assure he gets it off. Or maybe it is just to work away on an Adept or something like that.
Yeah, very possible. I mean, like you said, Reapers just aren't super fantastic when it comes to TvP, just because Stalkers and Adepts both wreck them pretty heavily. But they do seem to be interested in just staying home right now, which is probably the smart thing for them to do. Probes coming in to scout are just immediately going to die. Instead of, dying in 3 seconds, they die in 1.
Yeah, okay. Now, yeah, so, I mean, he's going to use these grenades and micro back. I mean, okay. This is an odd interaction. We don't really know how this is going to play out, but it's important to note that Trap is going for a Twilight Council with Blink while this is going on, so he's opening up. I mean, he could be looking to put on some pressure. Meanwhile, Cure just playing it actually pretty greedy here, getting up a third CC already.
I know, third CC is going to defend with a Widowmine and a couple of Reapers. I'm not sure about this.
Yeah, I mean, the big question is, it's completely on Trap in this game right now, right? That whether he pushes it, whether he commits heavy to this Blink. Because sometimes Protoss players do like an early Blink to maybe just poke and then play defensive in transition. But, I mean, Cure and Trap are teammates. So if he has his opponent, if anyone is going to have his opponent's number, it's probably a Trap. Because, I mean, these guys definitely know each other. So maybe he is thinking, yeah, I'm just going to punish Cure here or something. But we'll see.
Yeah, that's, again, why we do this, because we will see. Bunker coming up at the front here, pretty traditional to get that bunker up against Protoss early pressure. Without it, you can really struggle versus early Stalker pressure with some Zealot and Adepts in there as well. But the bunker finishing, the bunker existing really helps you a lot defensively in the early game as a Terran player, especially if you're skipping tanks. Well, not skipping them, but just kind of delaying them to get your third CC down in the first 5 minutes of the game. Meanwhile, there is some Reaper action up. Well, there was some up in Trap's base, but that got shut down pretty easily.
Yeah, he did get a full scout on the Twilight Council, so he did see something researching. And, I mean, so he may have been able to sniff out this Blink. He's getting up a siege tank, and he's got his bunker up. So I think just to be safe, but we are seeing a Forge and a Nexus go down for Trap, so it's likely he's not committing tons to this because we didn't see a proxy pylon or anything. So this is the very safe Blink. So this is pretty decent for Cure, but Trap may still push out, but it's not like he has an Observer. Well, he does have a Observer, but it's just moving across the map now, so he's not trying to kill Cure by any means or anything like that.
Nope. Definitely playing defensively, playing macro style himself. Third Nexus in production, almost completed too, getting charged for his Zealots, and really nothing splash at all. To this point, I mean, yeah, no robotics bay. We don't have a Templar archives. We don't have
Oh,
any of the stuff you would need.
wow. See this? He's getting up 5 more gateways. He's getting up charge in 1-1. So this, I don't know if you're familiar, but this is the Rotterdam style, I guess it's sort of called, in which you just play mass stalkers and zealots. And I mean, this is a frustrating style to play against as Terran because Terrans are so used to having having like bio. When it comes to bio versus gateway units, the bio wins 100% of the time. But this is that sort of like scrappy Protoss style that can actually, it can go the distance. Because, I mean, the 1-1 being chrono boosted out very quickly means the Protoss will have an upgrade advantage. And then charge lots are pretty good, unless it's like an absurd amount of Terran mass. It's very good. It can go all right for the Protoss in this situation. I mean, he's not really going to get much done with this poke here. But, yeah, we'll see. This is interesting. We're going to see how this works out.
Yeah, definitely. The Zealots are really important against all this bio. They absorb a lot of shots, both from Marauders and from Marines, allowing the Stalkers from behind to kind of pick units off as they will. But I don't actually see any Zealots quite yet. Just some Stalker pressure. Charge is just about done.
Yeah,
and
I don't
that
think
plus
he's
one,
going to
plus
push
one finishing
in,
up here too.
because you generally want like a Warp Prism if you're pushing in, and there's the Warp Prism on the production tab. The one thing that has me worried for Trap in this game is just the way that they opened up. I mean, Kure did go for that fast third command center.
Ooh.
I mean, he's doing good micro with these Stalkers here, but it does make me still a little bit worried, the fact that Kure is just going to be a 3-base Terran versus a Protoss who's pretty much only making gateway units. So, because I mean, Kure's going to mass up pretty quickly here.
Yeah, definitely. 3-base Terran is abjectly terrifying no matter what race you're playing. Especially a Protoss here, though. A lot of bio can cause major problems, especially if you kind of bypassed splash damage in your current builds. So we do have some Zealots in production here now. We've got about 8 of them on the ground. We do have some Sentries for Force Fields, which is real nice. Guardian Shield, very excellent too, against the bio play of Kure. And Warp Prism going for some shenanigans here.
Yeah, we've got a... I mean, so we've got Trap. He is looking maybe to try and get something. It doesn't look like he's committing fully to this because, I mean, he hasn't been completely, like, committing to this. He's getting up a second Robo. So he's not trying to hit some specific timing, but he's going for light harassment. He's seeing what he can get done right now. 5 Zealots are running on in right now. They're actually going to catch a Widowmine here, maybe get 2, and that's a very nice pickoff there. And we'll see what else they're going to be able to do. They're pulling Trap back for now, but... or they're pulling Kure back, pardon me. But Trap, for now, he's just trying to stay proactive. However, Kure is looking to try and get some damage done here.
Yeah, he's pushing out for the first time in this game really seriously. He's going to take down a pylon, but holy smokes, Zealots.
Oh my gosh, this Zealot harassment. And this is the power. I mean, Zealots are pretty good versus smaller numbers of bio. They do pretty well. I mean, but we are seeing that Kure's just saying, I'm going for it right now. So we'll see what's this bio force going to be able to get done. Is picking off a Marauder here. But back at home.
Kure is in a lot of trouble. He's lost 24 SCVs. It's 71 to 44 Harvesters. The third base is completely forfeit right now. His attack on the other side of the base is getting shut down and forced back home by Trap. Trap is looking really great here in the first 10 minutes of this game.
The missile turret does pick off the Warp Prism there, which is very nice for Kure, not having to worry about that anymore. But 26 SCVs is huge amounts of damage, and I mean, the only reason why I'd say that Kure is still in this game after taking so much damage, because I mean this is a very rough spot for him, is the lack of AoE and the fact that Trap is on these gateway units, but he realizes that that is still a bit of a hole in his play for now, so he's going into double Disruptor, which is just, it's going to make it so hard for the Terran player to come back from this spot. He's also getting up Templar Archives, he can maybe go into a Colossus or two, so I mean this is just going to be very tough for Kure once there's a few more Disruptors out here.
Yeah, that bio ball is not what we expect to see from Kure at this stage of the game. It is fairly small, fairly anemic. A lot of the guys are injured. Upgrades, we're working on +2/+2, which is excellent. But it's just not as big and terrifying as it normally is. Disruptor hits can really whittle this down, especially the counterattacks of Trap, taking away from the attention at the front here. Are those what are sneaking around down there to the south? Just a little bit. Some Zealots.
A few Zealots, I mean... He's got charge, so you're always going to be trying for some harassment, and he will be finding some damage here. There's no units here. Kure is bringing some of his units back in order to deal with this, but look at this. The Zealots are just going to run on out, or at least some of them will, and then Kure, he can't really push into a Trap because of these Disruptors now. There's that AoE that he has to worry about, so he's maybe going to have to try and drop or go into Mass Liberators, but he took a lot of economic damage, so going into Mass Liberators, he's not doing that off a strong economy, so he does need to stay proactive here and try and find something.
Yeah, just kind of dancing around, being pretty patient right now is Trap. He's trying to make sure he doesn't lose to a giant push in at his third base by Cure here. But once again, Cure kiting back. He does not want to engage here. He's not moving forward, which is the sign of a Terran player that feels like he's outmatched in the current situation. And yeah, just blinking forward, picking off Marauders, picking off Marines as he goes, and Cure is not looking great.
Yeah, I mean, he is coming in for an attack towards his fourth base, but there's all these disruptors in High Templar here to greet this. I mean, if we see some fantastic micro here, that could be what he needs, but otherwise he's going to run into a very bad position right now. Oh, and the Disruptor Novas go out there.
Pretty good splits, though.
Yeah, I mean, he saves some of them, but he doesn't have enough, and he doesn't even try and pick off a single Disruptor there, so that's pretty rough for him.
Indeed. It's 164 to 152 supply. Ooh, Medevac's taking some shots. Marauders outside of their comfort zone. Getting destroyed here. That's a lot of dead Marauder, man. How many? 18 Marauders and 30 Marines have died so far. That is a lot in this stage of the game.
Wow, yeah. I mean, all things said, though, Kiri's done a pretty decent job trying to stay alive in this game. He's now got a ton of Liberators up, so Trap pushing in may be a little bit over-eager here. So Kiri's staying alive, and he is reaching that Liberator stage, which will help him. He's also getting +2 for his Liberators, so he's buying himself time. He's in no immediate danger at this point, because there's no way all these Liberators can be pushed into unless they're really out of position or something like that.
Trap did try to sneak in a little attack into the fourth base of Cure, but that was shut down by the army that was near enough by to kill those zealots. So 7 SCVs went down, but nothing more major than that. Cure's coming back, man. He's at 69 to 74 right now. Liberator count is insane, and Trap for a second there.
Oh, but yeah, look at that. These Disruptors still able to zone out this army. And the main thing is, yeah, Trap can't push in right now, but he is getting into triple Stargate, and he'll get up a Fleet Beacon right after that. And then start going into Tempest, most likely. He's getting up a 5th base. He's even getting +2 shields because he's heading into his 3-3. So he's going to be a very happy Protoss with all of the tech at his disposal. Now, whether Cure can make a play happen in order to sort of nullify that is the question. Ooh, yeah, those Disruptors, man. I mean, it's just there's so much AoE in this army. Storm and Purification Novas, and this 4th base could be in a lot of trouble here because Cure's out of position right now. Wow.
I don't know about this. He lost a couple Stalkers because he went back through the Circles of Death instead of staying in there. I guess there was a Planetary Fortress and some reinforcements coming in.
Yeah, I mean, Trap's doing a very good job staying active with his units here while he is transitioning because, I mean, he's still got this army that can bully Cure. And so, but he's also transitioning, which is very nice to see. But Cure already making Vikings, which is something I like to see. Very mature. Predicting that Tempest transition, despite I don't think he even saw the Stargates. He just knows. But then more Zealots coming on in here.
Yeah, he hasn't scouted by any stretch. He's absolutely starting Viking production before the first Tempest was under construction. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's really going to help him out here. However, the later, I mean, Liberators are very strong, make no doubt. Terrans can push on in. However, when the Terran is the one contained, it makes it very tough for the Terran player because the Protoss is able to whittle away on them. So we'll see. But I mean, look at that Trap going a little bit too far forward, and so many Disruptors going down there. I mean, those Liberators
my gosh, that Liberator count is kind of insane right now.
Yeah,
that is
he does
12
need to be
Liberators
careful with it though. But yeah, once again, getting set up. Trap overstepping a little bit. Stalkers trading out there at best, really. I mean, that wasn't the best engagements there. Trap does need to be careful. I mean, he lost all but 2 of his Disruptors. He's even remaking some more, which is what I like to see. He's getting tons of upgrades as well, even getting out an Oracle for tagging. He's getting up a Dark Shrine. He really does want all this tech at his disposal here. However, Cure, he has pushed his opponent off him, so now he's able to push out, maybe start transitioning, focusing on other things, while start trying to figure out how he's going to kill Trap here.
Indeed. And Trap, again, going for all of the splash, which is very exciting stuff. Continuing, like you said, to replace those Disruptors. He did make a few Tempests, but he didn't go overboard with it. He made 5. You really don't want to have that many Tempests just because, sure, they can maybe clear out the Liberators, but then suddenly you're left with a ton of Tempests versus a lot of Marines or Vikings, and your army supply is not that great.
Oh, decent Disruptor shots, but there's actually not much else here to save this Nexus. So Cure, this is a nice move that he needed to get. Getting 2 Disruptors, getting the Nexus, and now sort of trading with his Bio Army. That was a nice pick-off there. That's a very nice, that's the kind of move that Cure needed. However, he's taken so many Zealots coming on in here on the other side of the map, and Ghosts even going down to these Zealots. So,
but the drop in the main base of Trap is doing a lot of work here. Probes getting picked off. A few Stalkers here to defend. Not going to be enough. The Tempests are trying to finish off the Medevacs. They're target firing them. Well, they were target firing them fairly well. And this is just 3-3 Marine Marauder, making it hard for the Protoss to eject them.
Yeah, Liberator harassment going on while this is heading in. And I mean, Cure, that was such a nice attack from him because, I mean, Trap was reaching that point in which he'd be a very stable Protoss, and picking off the 5th base, that's really going to cut into his sort of stability in this game. And now suddenly Trap is moving across the map. Might be a little bit overboard here because he doesn't want to overextend because, I mean, Cure, he does have all these Liberators, he's got Vikings, he's got Ghosts. He doesn't have too much bio on the ground at the moment, but he's still got a very nice army here. So Trap, he can't really push out, it doesn't look like.
Oh, those circles.
Oh man,
doom circles here. Ooh, High Templar almost wandered in there and got picked off. That would have been huge.
They want them.
Oh!
There.
The feedback.
Very good feedback there, yeah. Okay, now, so yeah, that was a nice reaction from Trap, not letting those High Templar die, getting the Ghosts. So, okay, now more disruptors on the way as well. So, like, I mean, Trap, he took a blow, he was set back, so he doesn't have tons of resources at his disposal, but he is solidifying once again in that. That is generally pretty good for the Protoss player, and he's looking to move on in, but we'll see. I mean, these Liberators, it does take a long time for them to get cleaned up by the Tempest fleet.
It does. That's the thing with Tempest. They have great range, they hit fairly hard, but they attack so slowly. And Liberators can just run from them for the most part, which is what we saw there from Cure. Setting up the circles, and Vikings trying to get some shots off there on the Tempest. Everybody kind of dancing around a little bit. Stalkers not ready to commit their storm on a couple Marines. Not exactly cost efficient there.
Yeah, this is a very dangerous dance, though, because, I mean, you make a misstep with this and say you eat a few bad EMPs, and then because Cure's going to be looking to want to dive on top of this army, whereas Trap, he's just trying to pick away on Cure, maybe bait him into some Psy Storms or Disruption Novas. And so far, he's looking to do a good job at that.
Yep, Zealot's getting into the natural base of Cure again, trying to do some damage, but once again, shoved away by the Marines and Marauders there for defense. Cure splitting his units fairly well. The Marines coming up this left side.
So many Novas going out,
though. Novas!
Liberators trying to get on top of this army definitely forces it back. There's not many High Templar left, so the Vikings actually getting on top of these Tempests. There's one more Psy Storm in there, maybe not. And so that was actually a fantastic engagement by Cure there.
Yeah,
so well
absolutely.
done.
Our Tempest count is down to 0. There's 1 in production now, and there's no real answer.
Yeah, these Liberators are going to work wonders here. I mean, I guess just Cure diving on top of that. Trap was a little bit too far out. Maybe didn't have all his army there, but yeah, now he wants to try and find something done, but he may have overextended with these High Templar. I mean, they're getting some storms off, but they are all going to go down, so we'll see. But, this army,
yeah, suddenly more Stalkers, got Archons, got an Immortal Disruptor in there as well. Cure pulling back to defend against it, setting up defensive mode circles, and this is just Trap walking into the natural base for a second.
Here, yeah.
No, he decided to back on out because, again, more Disruptors, more Liberator defensive mode circles here.
Okay, and there's this Planetary. That needs to be given the hug by the SCVs. You don't want to be losing that base. And there's a lot of DPS coming out of this Protoss army. It will go down, so that's a nice blow there for Trap. However, he is still committing a lot here, and those Liberators are going to get some nice shots off on this army. Archons melting, and just so much damage done. So picking that base off was nice for Trap, but he's committed to this attack. Instead of, say, building up a nice bank of High Templar, he's been active out on the map. He hasn't been making more Tempests. He's really just been committing here, and he may have overcommitted once again. I mean, Stalker's doing a good job on these Liberators, but Vikings landing, and now there's a good chunk of bio here, and there's suddenly not much for Trap to deal with it.
Yeah, Trap's making Disruptors back home, but suddenly he's down 80 supply. The EMPs have been consistently great out of Cure here. Very happy to see EMPs tossed down on Stalkers, tossed down on High Templar. Whatever needs to be done. A couple Liberators overextending a little bit there. That's just a difficult thing to micro if you're Cure. And they do go down, but man, 187 to 25 supply. He needs the best Disruptor hits of all time to hold here.
Yeah, and he doesn't have too many Disruptors. I mean, he's got 3, but they're walking into Liberators right now. It's just so hard to control this army. Now it's really just Stalkers versus Stimmed Bio. So looking at that, Cure takes the first map.
Oh, Cure! He was down! He was down fairly heavily there into the early mid-game. But he just fought and clawed his way back, expanded a bunch of times, reacted perfectly to what Trap was going to do, even before Trap technically started to react to it there. Great control of his Liberators, fantastic control of his Ghosts with the EMPs getting thrown down, dodging Disruptor shots, and those Vikings were huge. They paid for themselves a few times over, I would say.
Oh, for sure. That was fantastic play there by these guys. Now, the next map's going to be Dreamcatcher. So that'll be an interesting one for PvT.
True, but more of a rushy map. I believe it has the second shortest rush distance in the current map pool. So we could see somebody go for some shenanigans here, but at the same time, well, let's get those things right. At the same time, we could also just see standard stuff that we saw macro style on the Lost and Found.
Yeah, I mean, Trap, that was the sort of weird thing in that game. I mean, he got some nice damage done there with that sort of Zealot counterattack, just opening up with that style and then transitioning. But then when it came down to, he took the one really bad fight. After that, I mean, he sort of just gave up on the whole late game thing. He just kept pushing and pushing and being a little bit too active out on the map, dare I say, because, I mean, yeah, but, all right, we're loading on in.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what he was trying to do. He was trying to finish Cure off when Cure was a little bit wounded and a little bit weak there, but it just didn't work out, and then it hurt his ability to transition into that late game. And he just kept pushing at it probably for too long. Probably should have gone to more of a defensive style, a bit more attacking around the edges at those expansions rather than going right in the front door as he did time and time again there.
Okay. Yes, so we are loading on into this. It is map number 2, of course, between these two guys, but we always do best of 5s in Afreeca World. So spawning down the bottom right-hand side of the map, he lost that first map. It's Trap playing for Team Jin Air Green Wings.
And spawning on the top left, it is the blue Terran player. It's going to be Cure.
Yeah, I mean, Cure. Like, I was a little bit worried for Cure because, I mean, he's a very good player. However, I mean, he hasn't had some of the best results versus Protoss lately, just checking up on his Aligalac and stuff, like losing some matches that maybe he should have been arguably the favorite in, but then playing versus your teammate is a completely different ball game, someone that you know, and that was just fantastic play by him, not overstepping, not sort of overcommitting into disruptors or psi storms or anything like that, because that's exactly what Trap was trying to get him to do.
Yep, and definitely worked out for Cure in the end there. So Probe here scouting around, and honestly guys, if it's good enough for Trap, it's good enough for you. Worker Scout. I know some people say Worker Scouting puts you behind economically, but at your level, Platinum, Diamond, where you live, Worker Scouting is not going to lose you the game, and it will get you some incredible intel that will help you actually win games more often than it hurts you in any sense.
Yeah, exactly. You want that information.
Yep, 100%. So Reaper here on the way. Trap should absolutely be ready for it. He's got a Cybernetics core coming up. Keeping things close to home here. Tried to block the expansion for a little bit, did our Probe friend, but in the end, it wasn't enough.
Yeah, remember last game, Cure made 2 Reapers? I mean, that's sort of that's like such a minimal fact. But he did open up that game with 2 Reapers, which was just such an interesting little thing. So,
yeah, and I mean, it worked really well denying the Probe Scout, which I guess maybe was the intent.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That was an interesting one, but this game, it's going to be paced out a little bit different than the normal because this was the Cyber Core before the Gateway, so a very fast Adept is going to be out here for Trap. Some Protoss players like to do this a little bit more than they used to and just move across the map, maybe try and pressure the Terran a little bit, but the CC should be done by the time this Adept gets across the map. Sometimes it can be close depending on the exact builds, but Adept also going to shoo this Reaper away.
And, dancing on the other side of the grass there a little bit. Where did the Reaper just kept going.
Oh,
Reaper's
look at this. No, yeah, CC not finishing in time. This is the fast Adept getting across the map, and now a nice bit of delay there for the Adept, but Cure pulls back the SCV, so being very safe in that regard. The Reaper, I imagine, will be back to help try and work away on this Adept. Micro Battle, this is one that Cure should win, maybe able to bruise the Adept a little bit here. But it will shade out. Maybe
take a Marine. Ooh, takes the Marine and manages to escape as well.
Yeah, I imagine the Reaper's going to be on that, though. Or no, keeping it at home for now.
Oh, Adept coming back in for round number 2 a little bit, just to see what we're dealing with.
Okay,
additional Adepts are pushing out.
All right, so I mean, we never mentioned it, but there is a Stargate on the way for Trap, and he's doing this aggressive build here, whereas Cure's doing a 2-1-1 from the looks of things, just at the production tab. Now we see 3 Adepts moving across the map, but there's also an Oracle that's going to be joining up on this in a second, so he's really putting the pressure on the Terran player, and sometimes Terrans just die to builds like this. SCVs are being pulled for Cure already, which is very important for this, because he can't let his Marine count be whittled, because this is exactly what Trap's trying to do. He's trying to snowball here.
Yeah, he's trying to keep the Marine count low so that the Oracle can do more work. That was huge getting that Adept, though. That was very nice.
That was
Oracle can't really engage against that many Marines. Going to go make a beeline directly for this mineral line.
There's a Widow Mine, and he gets it. Nicely done, burrowing that just finished burrowing as the Oracle got on in there. So nice defense here for Cure so far. And, these two Adepts will get in from the seam of things. Their Shade will complete. One of them goes down immediately, though. So, Trap not getting too much done with his build. He throws up a third base, but he doesn't have any other tech on the way besides the Stargate. And, I mean, Cure definitely knows about that, so he should be safe in most regards. And Cure's also getting up Stim. This is a very quick Stim coming out of him.
Indeed it is, and it's just so good, especially against Protoss, where if you have a Stalker count you're dealing with, the Stim Marines just do so much better than regular Marines would do in that situation. We do have another Oracle on the way here from Trap. So one out on the map, one more in production back home, and then a Sentry to deal with any early aggression, and taking a third Nexus too. Holy smokes, Trap.
Yeah, this is kind of greedy from Trap going for such a quick third Nexus after that build, because particularly after seeing the Stim. So this is going to be pretty concerning here for Trap, because eventually Cure is going to have double Medivac and 16 Stim Marines. This isn't anywhere near as common versus Protoss as it is versus Zerg, but Stimmed Marines hitting at an early timing is something that's so sort of, you have to be so precise when dealing with it, because they're just like razor blades. They'll cut you if you don't handle them very carefully. But okay, these Oracles. I mean, the extra Oracle for Trap, because he did lose one, is sort of a bit of an interesting factor how it's going to work out, because it's an investment. He's going to have Revelation. He can maybe drop in a Stasis Ward, but not really enough to take a head-on fight with this army here. So,
yeah, definitely not. And hanging out there on the high ground is a little bit dangerous. I'm glad he got those two out of there, because watching them die instantly would be pretty sad. Blink now getting started here for Trap. Blink is a decent way to deal with Marines. You can kind of kite them away. Blink on top of them as well. Sentry here for Force Fields, although more likely for Guardian Shield, just because there's one of them here rather than more than a couple.
Yeah, I mean, Trap is doing a good job with these Oracles, sort of threatening Cure, keeping him back at home for now, but there's missile turrets getting up at each base, and Cure's on 2 bases, so he is going to want to try and get something done in this game.
Yep, and here we go. There's the liftoff. There's the move out. And hold on a second. That is not a medevac that is full of Marines. That is a medevac that is full of tanks.
Yeah, Cure's doing this. I mean, we've seen this push a lot on Dreamcatcher, but I'm not sure that Trap's going to have an answer for this, because this Terran's coming on in. He's going to be abusing the cliffs here. And there's going to be Stimmed Bio. It's going to have +1 here. It's going to have Medivac support, and then there's going to be 2 tanks with it. Adepts are getting in, and Oracles are getting in as well, causing some chaos here. So a nice bit of counter damage, but this push is still going to be so strong. Once these tanks are set up, the Stalkers are not going to be able to fight it. So, oh man, now these tanks getting shots off.
Yep, there's he needs something to get around the backside and take down those tanks. Some Zealots would be nice. Maybe some Stalkers wandering over that direction would be good as well, but there we go. The Stalkers coming around the left side, going to try to finish off. That one tank is going to fall. That's a nice job by Trap, but that's just an invitation for Cure to come in and try to take this sucker down. He's trying to keep that tank alive, but the Stalker control.
Stalker's taking a lot of damage there. I mean, he's doing a good job. He has the idea of trying to whittle this army down, because he's got a ton of Stalkers here. He's just invested in so many, but this is Stimmed Bio at the end of the day, and I mean, good micro so far. With this one tank getting set up will greatly help Trap out, though. But is he going to be able to do it? This is very nice control out of him with the Stalkers, but eventually this has got to falter, right? But he is pushing Cure back.
It's working. Marines are fleeing from this location. The Medivacs, one of them very low on HP.
Okay.
Pulling back to where another sieged tank is here.
Yeah, okay. I mean, the Marines, they're not the best versus Stalkers in smaller numbers, because the Stalkers, they do have... They're pretty tanky, so they do live on, and that's exactly why this is working for Trap. But I mean, the Bio is getting some nice engagements now, and Trap has bled off a fair few Stalkers at this point. How many have died this game? 21 Stalkers have died this game.
21 for 40. Yeah, for 42 Marines there. That's just not a good trade at all.
He's doing a lot of micro with them. Like, it's the right idea, but at some point it's not necessarily enough. A third base is on the way for Cure. The Oracle's actually going to delay that, which is very nice for him. It's out of energy now, but he sees this, and he's held on for now. But the thing is, Trap committed so much to these Stalkers here. He's just got charge in +1 on the way now. So, I mean, sometimes it's like you want to hold off until you get towards the better tech, whereas Trap, he was pretty much just holding off into more Stalkers, it seemed like. It's not like he was waiting for Disruptors or anything. So, while he's got these Stalkers he can push out with now, and he's maybe looking to get a cheeky blink or something on this base, but we'll see. Yeah, he's getting off a tank there, so that's a nice trade there, but still, he's still got to wait a little bit. He's going to have charge, which will be nice for him. He's going to have +1 armor, but Cure's on 1/1 as well, and he's going into Ghosts as well, which is something so nice for Cure here.
Yeah, I'd like to see more Terrans use Ghosts against Protoss. EMP is extremely useful. Even if nukes aren't necessarily as good as you'd like them to be, EMP alone, steady targeting, also pretty good in a lot of situations.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's also an answer to the High Templar, which are going to eventually be on the way because there's a Templar Archives on the way. I mean, it could just be for Archons because Trap is playing this very sort of gateway unit heavy style, and sometimes Protoss players do skip the Storm, but Protoss players generally want Storm versus Terran, and I mean, Trap is now starting up in Immortal, he's getting his +2, and there's the Storm, so he is going to try and consolidate and play this sort of more stronger, the more typical stronger Protoss army, and generally a straight-up fight, because that's what he's looking for. However, he is going to have to hang on versus what Cure's sending out, and I mean, Cure should be hitting before Psystorm's done this game.
Yeah, for sure. He's almost there. Psystorm's almost 50% complete. It is a fairly long upgrade here. And here comes Cure. Like you said, he's got the +1/+1. He's got Concussive Shell and Combat Shield and Stim. Very bio-heavy and Ghost production. They're not going to be here for this push, but they'll be here in the future. So we're back round 2 for this little setup.
Yeah, this third base, I mean, you wonder why players expand here because it's always under attack here, but Trap, I mean, he needs to hold on to it. However, he may just be making the choice to abandon it. He's got his 4th base on the way, and the most important thing for him is he does have Psystorm on the way. However, there's Ghosts already, which is absolutely huge. A counterattack is going on, though.
Yeah, pretty good stuff out of the Zealots. Couple Ghosts go down before they get cleaned up there.
Yeah, and Ghosts certainly are not cheap, so that's a nice find there. However, picking off the base is very nice for Cure. However, Trap, he has gotten into these High Templar, so 1 or 2 good Storms is what he needs, is certainly what he's going to be looking for here. He's now gotten up his other 3rd base, though, so while his economy took a blow, he does still have this base up, but Cure, I mean, he's still got this nice army. He came in, he got damage done, and that's what he wanted there.
Yeah, he's just heading back home. I took down that base entirely for Trap. My 3rd base is well established. That said, there are more Zealots in there.
Yeah.
Getting chased away.
And I mean, Cure is only on 3 bases for now, and not a super high SCV count. Make no mistake, these guys are playing like a very in-your-face. They're not really... While they are going for some high-tech units like Ghosts and High Templar, they're not like going for full-on late game or anything like that. They are trying to just use these high-tech units as a way to sort of leverage a win here, it looks like. Now, Trap is moving out, and I mean, in the last game, he moved out and was too aggressive, and this game, he's doing it once again. He's got High Templar in the Warp Prism, so Cure's being forced back. He's got Ghosts.
The EMPs!
Yeah, and once again, I think Trap may have overextended. However, a fantastic Psystorm going down there.
Oh! EMP'd and then taken down is another High Templar.
Yeah,
the Templar were sneaking in.
Warp Prism, though, so he'll be able to have that there. And he's going to want to land it and try and get off his Storm, but Cure's being very preemptive about this. Tries to land an EMP. First one misses. Second one hits that High Templar, and now there's no Storm. And once again, it looks like Trap has overextended here.
Yeah, he tried to pick up that Templar. Ooh, loses the Warp Prism at the front here as well.
And
now it's just Stalker
Cure just
Immortal
stimmed to win at this point, right?
Yeah, this is just Marine Marauder. It's not a huge force, but Trap does not have the tech he needs to deal with this.
Yeah, he's
it's
literally
just
got
Stalker Zealot.
Okay, he's got a few more High Templar, but they
don't have energy for Storm, though.
Yeah. And Zealot spilling forward. He's got upgrades, but it doesn't matter. Cure now taking the 2-0 lead here.
Dang. Cure just continues to dominate, dropping 0 maps so far in today's Afreeca world after dropping 1 in the previous one that we cast together here. So, dang, it's just too much. It's just too much Marine Marauder. He's got Medivacs in there, too. No Liberators this time. Just kind of hung out with what he wanted. Got the Ghosts out pretty early. EMP was fantastic. A couple good Storms there from Trap, but not nearly as many as he wanted there, just because the EMPs found their targets more often than not. So Cure on the up and coming for sure here. Let's see if Trap can force another game, or if this is going to be a quick 3-0 for our terrifying Terran player.
Okay, now I've got an important question for you.
Yes.
How do you pronounce this map? Cerulean Fall? Cerulean Fall?
Yeah, Cerulean.
Okay, is that the official pronunciation?
Yes.
Okay.
Just Cerulean. It's a color.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I didn't know. I had no idea.
There's all sorts of crazy colors with weird names.
That's true. I was just like, well, what? I didn't Google it or anything. I was just like, I assumed it was just like a made-up word or something like that. But
It is a color ranging between blue, azure, and a darker sky blue.
Okay, so there's definitely an official pronunciation for that. I was just like, is this some made-up word that no one knows how to say?
Right.
Okay.
Which is weird because the map isn't particularly blue itself. It's very like brown and orange and gray and stuff.
I guess it has a bit of like a back shade, but alrighty, both these guys are ready, so we'll see.
Let's get on in
to bring
here.
it back? I mean, Kier wants to become a back-to-back champion, it looks like.
She sure does.
I mean, you win a few bucks, you get invited to the next event. It's a pretty good deal, winning an Afreeca World.
Yes.
And I mean, it's only like it's only just like 11 o'clock in Korea at this point. So I mean, if you can win a few bucks before noon and then go on with your day, that's a pretty good start to the day. But anyway, this guy spawning down the bottom left-hand side of the map, playing for Team Jin Air. It's Kier.
And spawning far, far away in the top right, it is the blue Protoss player. He is Trap.
Far, far away indeed. I mean,
this
is the big map, right? In the pool currently, it's one of the biggest. There's that one other one that's fairly large, but this is a big map, and we'll see. Generally, Protoss players are happier on the larger maps, but Trap, I mean, the 2 games that he's lost, I mean, dare I say it's because he's been a little over-aggressive. That last game, there's no doubt about that he overextended there. I mean, he did lose the Nexus, and I understand wanting to get damage done, but I mean, overextending and losing the game isn't an answer, or isn't really a valid way to come back, so we'll see what he's going to be able to do. Maybe he will play a little bit more passive on this larger map, because he did open up quite aggressive in the past game, too.
Yeah, definitely. He's been trying to kill Cure. There's none of this sitting back for 15 minutes and waiting for the Terran to come to him. He wants to be the one who dictates when these engagements happen, and it just hasn't worked out for him so far. So we'll see if he does switch up his tactics or not. Probe scouting on in, sees no proxies, sees the barracks at home as it should be, and he's going to continue to be as annoying as he possibly can with this probe.
Yeah, no love for his teammate, just certainly wanting to kill him right away. Now,
yes.
But as far as Kier goes, I mean, Kier, dare I say, he's being a respectful Terran. No proxies in a TvP, and it's game number 3. So that's got to be a pretty nice feeling for the Protoss player, but also a little bit concerning at the same time, because there's a reason a lot of Terrans proxy, but Kier seems to be happy playing more sort of straight-up games versus his teammate.
Indeed. Yeah, I'm sure they've had 1 or 2 practice matches against each other in the last week. So, yeah, they're very familiar with each other. That might explain why Trap is trying to kill Cure so fast. He just knows that if the game gets into the late game, he really has no chance against Cure. I suppose that's a possibility.
Yeah, I suppose so. Trap, I mean, he is a guy, dare I say, I don't know exactly enough about him, but I believe he is known to throw out a fair few different styles. Like, he's a heavy adept user in PvP, I've noticed, and other things like that. So not necessarily playing, like, the textbook Protoss. Not that in this day and age there really is a textbook Protoss, but I mean, he's coming on in, he's scouting it out, and we'll see. He's going for a Stargate once again, but this time it is just the more normal Gateway Expand, I believe. So
yeah, Gateway Expand, Stargate in production here, just about completing as well, kind of down towards the south of the main where it's harder to get scanned. And then we should see a 3rd CC here, or 3rd Nexus rather, fairly soon for Trap, just because that gateway opening kind of allows you to put the pressure on the Terran.
Oh, but I'm a big fan of the build that Kier's going for, the Hellions. The having the Reaper and then the Hellions, you can catch out the Adept on the map, and that's actually why Trap sent his Adept home, because he scouted the reactor on the... Yeah, exactly. There was a time when Terrans were going for the Hellions where Protoss would just say, no, my Adept, it's allowed to stay out on the map, right? But no, versus 2 Hellions and a Reaper, it is not. So it does have to go home. So Trap, very mature decision, sending that home, not just losing the Adept. But also going to have these in order to defend. Hellion, I mean, Reaper takes one for the team, but this is a little bit ambitious for Kier.
Way defensively played there. Excellent job by Trap. 1 Hellion makes it inside. Good luck getting any probe kills,
yeah,
dude.
He's got an Adept trail on him, so this Hellion, I think it's surprised to still be alive at this point, but its days are numbered. And now what we're seeing, we see some more Hellions come into the natural, though, but there is a shield battery, which is healing up some of the probes, so no major damage going down there for Kier. In fact, I don't think he killed 2 probes this game. One of them was the scouting one, so...
So probably 1 with the Hellions, then.
Yeah, so for 4 Hellions, that's a very nice hold there for Trap, and that could partially be because of how large of a map this was. I mean, the timing wasn't as quick, and Trap just a very mature defense, just 3 Adepts in position. What more can you really want versus those Hellions?
That sounds like about what you need.
Yeah.
So good job by Trap. So transitioning into a nice bio play here is Cure. It's worked for him in the first 2 games. Why go away from it now, right? You get Stim, you're getting Marines, you're getting Marauders, additional barracks in production, getting tech labs for more upgrades and reactors to make more stuff. Phoenix on the way here. 3 Oracle, trying to sneak on over with some Phoenix support, it looks like. But 3rd Nexus warping on in quite nicely here for Trap. Viking here to deal with the Oracles when they show up. Adepts trying to get inside that main base.
Yeah,
they thought about
Oracles is no joke, and they're actually coming on in here. Cyclone's locking on, but they're not going to be able to get too much done there. The Viking in the air will help shoo this away eventually, but the Oracles stay alive, and they do get out, so picks off the 2 Cyclones, and now Adepts are in the main base.
Oh, Adepts going after your SCVs. 3 of them. They can one-shot your SCVs, but all 3 of them hit there. Hellions getting that bonus damage versus Light, and the Adepts got on out of there. So 4 SCVs down and 2 Cyclones killed, and I don't think he lost anything in that attack.
No, yeah, this is going very nicely. Oh, a Phoenix is going to come out. Now, the Viking in a 1v1 does beat the Phoenix. So that's certainly something that's noteworthy, and these Oracles, so they will still have to watch out for that. But look at this, he's just right-clicking on Stim. There's no anti-air.
Oh, there's a Viking, and no, not enough.
Oh my god.
Not picking off Marauders here, too. This is beautiful.
This is
play
fantastic.
Out of Trap.
These 3 Oracles, there's a reason why you build 3 if you ask Trap. Now, yeah, just getting so much damage done versus Cure. And then recalls back home for good measure. Just make sure those stay alive. And fantastic opening coming out of Trap. Cure's just been abused right now. And this is all... I believe that the 3 Oracles was partially a reaction just based on the fact that he invested in Hellions, which definitely cut into his earlier production to defend from those Oracles. And as a result of Cure, he took a mean beating this game.
Yeah, definitely. Resources lost is 1,500 to 100 right now
that
in favor of Trap.
2 probes, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Fantastic. Okay, I do like this for Cure moving out with a Widowmine drop, but it does get spotted by one of these Oracles. Just gets tagged. Trap just says, get that thing out of here. I know it's coming. And so it does go back home. So a very nice opening here for Trap. And I mean, Cure, he may still eventually try and push out, but if you're a Protoss, you're going to be very happy with this opening.
Yeah, I don't think you could script it any better if you were playing against Cure, what you wanted to get done in the first 7 minutes of this game. So far, so good. Got some Widowmines mixed in here for Cure. They can go ahead and deal with Zealots. They can deal with Stalkers. They can deal with Oracles that are zipping around. I like Widowmines against Protoss for sure. And burrowing themselves kind of between that 3rd base, and the natural. But Revelation reveals that there are, in fact, Widowmines out, which will make Trap a little bit more careful than I think he otherwise would have been. Got Sentries, got Stalkers. Blink is just about complete here. +1 ground weapons, about 10 seconds from completing as well. A great scan there, though, from Cure. Realizes exactly what's coming his way.
Yeah, I mean, his stim was delayed a fair bit, but he will have it in a minute again. His combat shield's also on the way, so I don't think Trap's going to be able to kill his opponent here because Stim will be done in 10 seconds. The medivacs are healing this army up. Lots of Widowmines in position too. Oracle's going to fly on in, but yeah, so I think Cure's going to be fine versus this. So Trap, once again, maybe overcommitting just a little bit. This is a fair bit of a commitment. He's made a ton of Stalkers here, and there's going to be Stim bio in order to deal with this.
Yeah, he's doing pretty good. He keeps trying to target fire down Widowmines and Vikings, which seems pretty smart here, and then just blinking his wounded
this is where it could
Stalkers
get
to the
Zealots.
back. And the Zealots are stuck, though. Come on, Zealots. Come on, work your way to the front. They're stuck inside the Stalkers. Oh, no.
Yeah, there's so many Widowmines here, but it is a good job for Trap just poking with these Stalkers. He definitely is getting more and more efficiency here, but, I mean, still, just committing to Stalkers is you generally want to get something done as a Protoss player. And so, I mean, yeah, he's getting nice pickoffs here, and he may just be reaching a point in which he can just kill Cure. Cure has a ton of Widowmines, though. He's got a literal minefield going on. It's just so many Widowmines here, so it's going to be tough for Trap to push on in, but he's doing a good job pulling his opponent back for now. And charge isn't done. That's the main thing. Trap, he warped in these Zealots. I didn't even realize, but it's on the production tab, so there is no charge here. It's just the Stalkers, and, I mean, Trap, instead of transitioning into something like Colossus, that forces a hard reaction, he's just trying to go on in with slow Zealots and Stalkers, and we'll see how this is going to work out. Widowmine's getting some nice connections off. One of the Oracles goes down, but once again, Trap not making a play happen, just over-committing again.
He is just now finishing up his Templar Archives back home, so we have Archons. He's getting Storm started here as well. Ghost production has begun for Cure, sub 10 minutes like we saw in the last game. And if we can get some nice EMPs off on this big Stalker ball, the Marine Marauder composition here with the Widow Mines are going to be a lot more effective.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, though, Storm just starting, and I mean, it could have been so much sooner if he was staying back and just focused on that when he realized he had a nice lead instead of pushing out. But he did push out. Zealot's now spilling forward. There is lots of Widow Mines here, though. And, oh, man, Kier he's poking, and it is just Zealot Stalker for now.
The Zealots were going to charge, and then
EMP's going back. Too.
Nice EMP. Oh, Observer picked off by a Widow Mine there. Coming in a little bit over-eager there. Those dudes, woo! Medevac manages to get out quite nicely. Force fields are really helping Trap immensely right now.
Yeah, they're keeping him alive here, but there's not going to be too many more of those, and there's lots of EMPs in here too. There's also no High Templar that were preemptively warped in, so there's going to be, while there is Storm, it's been researched, there's actually no Stormers. So, now we'll, but back at home, there's a nice Zealot counterattack, so, I mean, Kier is going to definitely want to push in harder now because he needs to get something done. Trap's doing a good job holding this ramp, but there's no Zealots in this army. There's nothing solid, so these Marauders may just be able to fight this head-on. Oracles were trying to bait out the Widow Mines there, but Kier is pushing on forward, and I'm not sure there's going to be enough Protoss here to hang on.
Another fantastic EMP right on that Immortal. Another Immortal shows up, and 5 Zealots do wander in here.
Okay.
But walking on top of these Widow Mines means they instantly die. He's not making High Templar, though he can afford it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, he's just desperately trying to hold on. More EMPs going down on this army, though. These units apparently are not allowed shields, if you ask here. It's just been a decent trade here for Trap. I mean, the army supply is equal. He took a fair bit of damage back at home, but it wasn't critical damage, and now there's a decent number of reinforcements coming in. Tons more mines, a few more ghosts, too, so there's going to be a lot more EMP off on this.
Are those shield batteries? Yeah, shield batteries. Oh, EMP on the shield battery. One of them.
That's just insulting to the Protoss. It's like, oh, you're going to make shield batteries to be safe? Nope, not happening. Now,
EMP right to the face. He did miss the one, although the one's now out of energy because it just healed up an Archon and an Immortal.
Yeah,
I mean, look at the slow siege of Widow Mines, too.
Yeah, definitely. This is what's allowing Kier to hold this position right now. Trap hasn't been able to push him back. And I mean, Archons, they have to walk into the Widow Mines to get attacked, so they're just going to get focused down quickly. And suddenly, there's just not enough Protoss here, it looks like. Some Widow Mines even wander in from the right side. They go down, but still, I mean, this is looking pretty rough for the Protoss player right now. Kier, he's trying to snowball. Trap's done a good job not letting this snowball happen and to fight this off, but it's gonna be close. I mean, he is pushing it back, so he has pushed this back, and Trap is on a 4th base, so maybe he made the hold. I mean, I know we were sort of saying that it's looking pretty desperate for Trap here, but he has managed to hold on. He's now even lifting up a few ghosts, which is very nice.
So nice, and all that time he got a 4th base. It's fully saturated. It's 74 to 51 Harvesters right now for Trap. And yeah, he's somehow dislodged the Terran player from his front doorstep at that 3rd base location, and it wasn't easy, but he made it happen. The Templar are now out there.
That was impressive. I mean, that like 1 or 2 more units go down and then the snowball happens, but Trap, he did manage to hold on. He did a fantastic job holding that ramp. So, yeah, and I mean, now he's once again at this sort of comfortable Protoss stage. He's got room to breathe. He's getting up another Warp Prism for some harassment, and then he's got High Templar. He's built up a healthy Immortal count and a few Archons, so his army, it's looking a lot better now. But Kier, he does want to push in once again.
Indeed, he's coming back. It's got the Widow Mines, Ghosts, Marines, Marauders, Medevacs, Liberators. It's kind of Maru style in that a little bit of everything is mixed in here. I wouldn't be surprised to see some some Hellbats would not go amiss. Maybe a couple Cyclones just for good measure.
Okay, but there's some High Templar in that Warp Prism, is there not? Or was it Zealots? No, it's High Templar.
High Templar. Wow, he cannot lose that. Ooh,
yeah, no, oh man. I mean, that Warp Prism keeps those units safe. And look at this, actually a surround from Trap getting behind this army. There is a Widow Mine that's going to connect with some of the Stalkers, but those 3 Liberators going down. A lot more EMPs, but fantastic storms coming out of that Prism. And what an amazing engagement there by Trap, just shutting this Terran player down. And I think Trap's not going down without a fight. I think he's going to be able to put a point on the board. There's the Trap.
Oh, that final engagement where he snuck around the backside and picked off the Liberators. Kier had pushed out a little bit too far ahead, left his Liberators alone, had not babysat them like he needed to. And as a result, the Liberators all got picked off, and that was massive, massive storms on the follow-up. No 4th base for Kier. He'd really kind of put everything into this push. He knew he was down, and Trap with a 4-base economy was going to snowball from there. So nice job by Trap. Gemini should be extremely happy in chat.
He should be happy, yeah. I mean, He might have been a little sad if Trap just sort of bombed out, but no. I mean, that's the Trap we want to see. That's the sick engagement he got at the end there. And I mean, his choice to attack out earlier was a little bit questionable, as he didn't really get much done. It really was the counter harassment after that got the damage done.
Yes, it absolutely was. The counter harass, he had a couple zealots wandering into the third base, causing some issues there as well. Ah, beautiful play. Oh no, enter the lobby. Oh, we made it. Okay, close. That was scary for a second. Gemini. With the delay, if Trap wins this, like freaking out already. I love it. He's going to be so happy. He's going to spam chat. By the time you see this, he will have spam chat.
Oh, man. Alrighty. Okay, so we're loading on in. Oh. Okay, we are not loading on. Oh, silly me. Were the players not in the right spot or something? Or I suppose Trap was waiting.
Yeah, we were trying to get Trap in.
Okay. Silly me. But yeah, we're loading on in, and I mean, yeah, that was a nice comeback for Trap. It's easy for Protoss to fold in that situation.
Yeah, absolutely. When you got that Terran sitting at your front door at your third base, just sieging you with everything they have, with splash damage, EMPs constantly going off in your face, that's going to be so demoralizing. But somehow he held, even when that shield battery came in and immediately got EMP'd, he held, he didn't get discouraged, and then he was able to win the game from there. So great job by Trap. Super impressed.
I mean, not overcommitting or anything like that, because there was tons of Widow Mines outside his base that entire time.
Yeah, if he just walked in there, he would have lost his entire army, and that would have been it.
Yes, but, well, he didn't, and that's why we're here. That's why we're not getting into the next series. Spawning down the bottom right-hand side of the map. He's trying to make a comeback. It's Jin-Air Greenwing's Trap.
And spawning in the top left, it's his teammate, the red Terran player, also from Jin-Air Greenwings. It is Cure.
Yeah, so, I mean, while Cure looking very good, and dare I say, very lethal with his sort of push-outs, Trap did a good job holding on there, and I mean, so we'll see what these guys are doing. And okay, here we go. 3 games grace is what Trap was given. Here comes out the proxy.
Yes. It's like, all right, enough of this. Enough of this playing standard shenanigans against Protoss. I'm throwing down my barracks somewhere else. The probe is looking, though. The probe is looking real hard for this proxy. Yeah. Check that third base location. Check the other third base location.
Yeah, but you know the one place that he won't check.
Where it is? Is that it?
Yeah, exactly. And it's the place that Terrans pretty much always proxy on this map. It's something about those gold minerals, man. They like building them close to it. It's usually here or sometimes here, from what I've noticed on this map. But
little known fact, gold minerals give off positive energy, and Marines that are created near them have 1 extra hit point. You might have missed that.
Oh, my bad. They make the Marines feel zen or fix their chakra or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever sort of stuff that is. Oh, wait. Okay, the probe's not going to be able to get the block.
Here it is.
Okay.
That's okay.
It's got to be a Marine in order to shoo this away.
Yeah.
SCV may have to dance a little bit.
SCV. Oh, stuck. Mineral walk. Get out. Forces a cancel.
Forces. Oh, that's nice for Trap. He found it when it mattered. And look at that. Factory going to be going up at home.
Nice.
Wow.
What a play.
Yeah, that's a very nice scout there. I was a little bit worried for Cure that Trap was going to come on in there and sort of, do the typical block the tech lab or whatever, thing like that, or block the floating building. But fortunately, that didn't happen. But still, I mean, is Cure even behind at this point? Because this happens so much to Terrans, they just follow up the proxy. But we'll see.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you could scout a Terran who's proxying and shut it down, and they can still win, no problem. So
yeah. It's not the old days in which you would just be like, oh, I scouted the Terran proxy early on. I'm looking pretty solid to win this game. Nope, Terrans have gotten pretty tricky at keeping the aggression on. It's like, wait, I haven't lost yet. And then they go and throw something else crazy at you. And we've got a Cyclone on the way for Kier. That's sort of a necessity for the Terran player because it's basically you don't have your Marine production back at home, so you got to make a Cyclone because it defends on the ground, it defends the air as well.
Yeah, if an Adept shows up, you don't have anything, you're just going to die. So, yep, Cyclone does very, very well against Adepts. Doesn't take much damage from it. Will kill it. Not as fast as other stuff, but it is enough to shoo that away.
Reaper did scout the Stargate. as well, which is important. I mean, the Reaper, on Acid Plant, if you're going to get a scout with the Reaper, it generally means that the Reaper will die, just because of the nature of the layout of the base and the sort of limited escape options. So the Stargate was scouted, so that's nice for Kier. He's getting up his command center. It's a little bit later than the usual sort of macro command center, but he's getting out Widow Mines also to defend what's going to be coming across the map, which is actually a Phoenix to start things off.
Yeah, not an Oracle first at all, just a Phoenix. Look at him running around. It's like he's expecting another proxy.
And I mean, he very well could be. I mean, Terrans, I mean, they certainly proxy a lot these days.
Yeah, you found my first proxy, but did you find my backup super secret special proxy? Well, there's not one this time, so yeah. So Phoenix is going to fly right on in there to the main base of Cure. Going to try to see what he can see. And the answer is a couple of barracks. Got a factory in there. Got a Cyclone zooming in as well. So going to be more bioplay. Out of Cure, nothing nuts. And there's not actually a reactor on that factory. That's some interesting tell.
Yeah, nothing on there yet. No starports starting just yet. Kier's going very heavy onto this bio. I imagine we'll see Combat Shield start soon because he did go for the double tech lab. It's either going to be Combat Shield or a ton of Marauders in a second here. Now, I'm actually a fan of this for Kier, and it's sort of just mapping out nicely for him, assuming he doesn't die to these 3 Stalkers here, which I don't think he should. Looks like a Phoenix will be maybe baiting out that Widow Mine. Yeah, that one's going to take one for the team. So that's very nice from there. Oh, does pick that off with the Cyclone, which is very nice there. But it is a Phoenix-based play that's going to be going up against Mass Bio. And this isn't the best for the Protoss because the Phoenix don't help hold attacks like this too easily. He's getting a nice bit of damage done, though, with the Phoenix. Just a tiny bit poking here. Yeah,
and the rest of his army decides to head on back home. Oracle in production, robotics facility coming in. Working on probes, and yeah, just all the upgrades in the world right now for Cure. He's really starting to get into that very scary bio-heavy composition.
Yeah, he does have a starport now, so he's going to be getting out those reactored medivacs. So he is going to be making that sort of typical Terran mid-game push from the looks of it. But Trap, something that I do like to see out of him, the fact that he hasn't gone for a third is a big deal. One less location to really focus on defending. He's just getting out a good number of units. He's getting up this robo, getting his +1. He hasn't invested in anything else just yet, but there we see the robotics base. So he's either going to be making disruptors or he's going to be making Colossus in order to help defend this.
Yep, and honestly, I think I prefer disruptors over Colossus. There are just too many answers that Terran have for Colossus. Vikings are really good. Marauders in and of themselves pretty great too. And I'd really rather prefer see those disruptors. They take a little bit more control to use, but I'm sure that Trap is up to that game.
Okay.
Swinging on in.
Yeah, he's coming on in here. There's no missile turret at the natural. I mean, these Oracles, they haven't realized this just yet. They're focusing down concussive shells. Not the biggest deal in the world for the Terran there. It's like, oh, it's concussive shells, as opposed to Stim in the last game. But we are seeing here, he's now got Combat Shield. He's going to be able to push on in here, focusing down a gateway, trying to bait the Protoss out. That's a lot of DPS there.
A lot. Another gateway down.
That's just so quick. The Cyclone helping out with there too, but look at this. There's no charge. There's no blink here. There's going to be +1, but the Sentry's going to get focused down, so no more Guardian Shield. So, I mean, Kier may just have checkmated Trap right now. Probe's being pulled into the meat grinder.
Yeah, he went a little bit too heavy on the Stargate, I think. He's got Marines and Marauders, and Cyclone's wrecking his probe count right now, and just Stalkers to deal with it, which is not going to be enough.
He is cleaning this out, but he lost 16 workers. Phoenix come back, but they go down, and back at home he didn't do much at all. If we see this, we see a Terran getting up a 3rd base versus a Protoss on 2 bases. And there's no Twilight, well, there's a Twilight Council, but there's no upgrades coming out on it, so there's going to be no blink or charge to help out. And I mean, if Kier consolidates here, maybe he'll go into a few Vikings. I think that's all he's going to need to close this game out, because 17 workers versus a Protoss who is staying on 2 bases is tremendous damage.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're looking at Colossus with extended thermal lance, which doesn't seem like the great answer.
Yeah, I mean, what else could he go for, though, right? Because,
yeah,
I mean,
he's stuck
Storm would be so far away. Maybe DTs, but, yeah, maybe. But there's turrets up at all the bases, so it's a very rough situation for Trap.
Yes, disruptors are available, though.
Yeah,
got him. If you can
maybe he'll make one after his Colossus or something, but he is just on the 1 Robo, so he's got to Chrono Boost that out constantly. And I mean, he is only on 2 Nexus, so that is hard to Chrono Boost constantly, so we'll see. I mean, Trap's just, maybe if he shuts down a drop very hard or something,
Like this?
Yes, like this drop. If he shuts this down, that would be a good start to coming back in this game because... But then here comes in a double Widow Mine at the natural.
All right, good pull there by Trap. Didn't take much damage at all.
A Giraffe will be out in order to clean this up, or Sentry's going to do that. But, yeah, so not taking damage to the Widow Mine drop is it's one of the boxes he has to tick. Taking no further damage, but then here comes in another drop here, so he may not be able to tick that box. The cannon's going to buy a bit of time, but this bio, so much damage is coming out. Even if a few probes go down, that's just tremendous damage. But he does force this back, which is nice. Phoenix cleans up the one Medivac there. And now we see Kyrie's got this army looking for a third base, but there is none yet.
No, there is not. The Colossus did shut down that drop quite nicely.
As we are going to be seeing what looks like a 2-base coming out of Trap right now. He's got Colossus, he's got, he's going to have 1-1. Yeah, he's just going for it. And I mean, he's going to have charge, so I think this may be his best possible timing.
The drop's coming back into Trap's main.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, this is going to be a strong push. The Oracles are going to come on in, but there'd have to be a few Zealots to help out with this. So Trap's really all in right now. There's an attack at his natural, so never base trade a Terran, right? GG gets called. Cure takes the 3-1.